Eren Yeager was a man who wanted nothing more than freedom. By the time he touches Historia's hand, the future finally hits him like a truck. After that, he can't even enjoy reaching the sea. Instead of feeling happiness, he stares across the horizon and asks, if we destroy the enemies on the other side, will we finally be free? That's the version of Eren who saw everything that was coming. But fast forward to chapter 106 and Eren is imprisoned again. And just like last time, he's talking to himself. At the same time, Mikasa repeats his famous line with him. If we don't fight, we can't win. So fight. And this is not a coincidence, people. This is another instance of future Eren bleeding into past Eren, motivating himself the same way he motivated Grisha and Kruger. The Attack Titan always pushes its inheritor to keep moving forward, no matter how painful the path becomes. Even Hange catches Eren again, paralleling the scene from chapter 89 perfectly, and she immediately notices that something is off, because just a few days later, Eren breaks out of prison, initiates the Yeagerist coup, betrays Armin and Mikasa, where he beats Armin bloody and calls Mikasa a slave. But as chapter 139 confirms, all of this was just an act. A performance future Eren forced himself to play to emotionally distance his loved ones so they wouldn't break their resolve during the rumbling to kill him. That means this prison moment where he talks to himself in the mirror is literally a time loop where future Eren is coaching past Eren through the darkest role of his life. Bringing me to the last two time travel moments, which are the absolute best, so stick around. Because guess what? The words Eren uses in the mirror, well, they are the same ones he first said when saving Mikasa as a child during the childhood kidnapping incident. Remember that Eren had never been to Mikasa's cabin. He had no way of knowing where she was being taken. Yet, he navigated the woods with perfect accuracy and murdered 2 grown men without remorse. It proves young Eren acted with knowledge he couldn't possibly have. Eren said to Zeke that he isn't the pathetic brother he presumed him to be, nor was he brainwashed to be a loser like Grisha did with him. He was born this way. If someone tries to take away his freedom, he won't hesitate to take theirs. But this scene isn't just about Eren. Isayama shows it again from a different angle in the paths for a reason. It is a major branching point in the time loop. By saving Mikasa, Eren awakens her Ackerman power for the first time. And this moment forges the bond that will become the center of Ymir's entire 2,000-year plan to let go of her love. Mikasa receives the red scarf, the symbol she cherishes until the very end, even at Eren's grave. And that attachment becomes the emotional chain Ymir needs her to have to eventually break by killing Eren. In other words, the rescue isn't just a childhood memory. It aligns Mikasa with the chosen one role required to end the Titan curse itself. So the time loop goes like this. Ymir watches Mikasa awaken her power and fall in love, which forms their bond, which Ymir studies for centuries, which inspires her desire for freedom, which requires Mikasa to kill Eren, which future Eren must ensure happens by shaping young Eren's worldview, and the cycle repeats and repeats. The proof for this is obvious. Chapter 139.5 showcases the reason for Mikasa's headaches throughout the story. Ymir was peeking into her head all this time, and this is exactly why Eren later shows Mikasa an alternative reality in chapter 138 where they run away together. But everyone till this day is still confused about what this moment means, so I'm gonna break it down. First, Eren did not live multiple timelines in a multiverse. The cabin was a memory Eren created inside the paths to give Mikasa a real choice, a psychological world where he finally lets his true feelings out. He shows her the life they could have chosen, running away, hiding from the world, living quietly whilst his remaining years tick down to die. The cabin is the answer to Eren's biggest question. who am I to you? And back in Mali, Mikasa avoided the truth. She said your family, and that answer decided everything. Because if Mikasa chose Eren romantically, Yme's 2,000-year-old cycle breaks, and if she clings to him as family, the loop continues. So Eren gives her one last chance. He creates a what-if memory inside the pulse, and unlike Armin, Mikasa's scene happens in real time. Ackermans can't have their memories altered, right? So it was happening live, right before the final strike. Eren in the dream comments why Mikasa is crying just like she did in episode 1, because in truth, she knows what's next. Eren begs her to forgive me, but back in reality, she answers, I'm sorry, Eren, I can't. And now, Mikasa, fully aware of what she's losing, makes the choice Ymir waited 2,000 years for. She lets go of her love and kills Eren, finishing the time loop. So what you truly need to understand about Attack on Titan is that Kenny was right. Every person is a slave to something. And for Eren Yeager, that something was freedom itself. His entire life, he saw himself as a bird trapped in a cage. And the more he learned about the world, the bigger that cage became. That's why he was disappointed when he learned humanity lived beyond the walls. Eren said everyone is born free. He meant the instinct to fight the forces that try to control you and oppress people. The same spark that Ymir saw when she freed those goddamn pigs 2,000 years ago. Eren understood that everyone is a devil in someone else's story. That's why when speaking to Reiner in Mali, he said, I'm the same as you. Neither of them chose to be monsters. They were pushed by the systems that they were born into. And when Eren tells Falco nobody chooses a war, he's admitting something very fundamental. Conflict is the natural outcome of people trapped in cycles where real choice doesn't exist. This is why he continues the rumbling no matter what. Yes, with the full founding Titan powers where he can manipulate all time, all memories, every bloody Eldian. Why didn't he save Carla? Why didn't he stop Reiner? Or Butthole? Why didn't he just break Frida's vow? Or protect Paradis peacefully? Or find any other outcome besides doing the rumbling? Well, future Eren would have always made the same choice to activate it, because it was in his nature since birth to seek freedom through violence. Eren never had free will. Ymir chose him because he was the only person whose will was strong enough to carry out what was required. And if we're being honest, Ymir is the true villain of Attack on Titan, and the amount of plot holes that she creates is insane. Like, that's an entire video on its own, and trust me, I'll be making that video next. But to enjoy more peak fiction, watch this video about Code Geass, where Lelouch actually pulls off the ending Eren wanted 100 times better.